Hello students, this is our last chapter of class 9th civics, chapter number 6, democratic rights. The word that rings with this heading in our brain is the word rights. In recent examples also, we must be aware that if you're watching the news and reading the newspapers regularly, then a burning topic regarding the right to be provided to the people for fighting against corruption which is prevailing in our country, a bill called the Lokpal bill which was to be passed, which would give the government a vigilance over its work. So at every walk of life, we are always talking about that we will do this, this is our right, we will not do this, this is not our right, and it is against our right, or we are always hearing these sentences around us. What actually is the right of a person? To go into details of this heading, we first give you a background of certain incidences, stories which have happened throughout the world, and they give us an overview of how, when people are not given the rights, they can be tortured, they can be humiliated, or they can be subdued from what should not be happening. So, the first story starts in Guantanamo Bay. This was in the year 2001 when America was attacked on 9/11, and after this attack, which was on the Twin Towers, the whole country was in complete shock. The country like USA could never believe that a world power can be attacked in its core in New York City, where we call it as the center of the business and administration of the states. Now, after this attack, although the government took actions in an open manner also, but in the background, the US government, the US forces, arrested many people, and to be precise, around 600 people from throughout the world, and these people were suspects in the eyes of the American government of this 9/11 attack. What was tragic here was that these people were not intimated by the government before their arrest, and even after their arrest. Their relatives, their families were not given any information of their arresting. And to top it all, the conditions in which they were kept in the prison at Guantanamo Bay were inhuman. They were treated very brutally, they were beaten, they were not provided with hygienic facilities, they were given bad food or improper nutrition, and the conditions were very, very brutal. When this came out in front of the world's eye through newspapers and media, at that time only, the world got to know, the families got to know that their relatives had been taken away. So, these conditions, no matter how powerful you are or how big your country is, just because you have the power in your hand will not give you the right to take away the individual right of another person. So, the first story tells us about how the people who did not actually commit any crime were punished for it just because they did not have the power in their hand, and someone with power could act and perform whatever they wanted. The second story is also somehow same. It is a story of ethnic massacre in Kosovo. It was a province of Yugoslavia, and afterwards it got split. Yugoslavia, as you all know, I'm sure, that this country had a history of racial discriminations and massacres and disturbances, and the same happened in Kosovo as well. This province of Kosovo basically had people from two communities, the Albanians and the Serbs. The Albanians were in minority and the Serbs or the Serbians were in majority, and in the mindset of the Serbs was that being in the majority they should rule, and with the same mindset when a person from the Serb community named Milosevic was elected as the leader, then it became clear that the Serbs should be the rulers, and to prove that, the minority Albanians were very, very severely tortured, and they were forced to move out of Kosovo or surrender to the majority Serb class. In our book, an incident is also mentioned which tells us how brutal the conditions were. It gives us an example of an old couple which was peacefully sitting at their home and enjoying the day, were forced by the military to move out of the houses. The old man was killed in front of the eyes of the wife, and the house was looted, and it was later on burned in front of the eyes of the lady of the house. And all this was done in the name of the leader who was elected by the people, so he held the power in his hand, and he was under the impression that he could do anything and everything to the minorities. It was after the massacre became public, it came in the world eye, and the different countries criticized and intervened into this matter. It was after that only that Milosevic lost the power and was tried in the International Court of Justice for crimes against humanity. So, this was our second story, and the third, and we can call it, this is a story which we have been hearing all along. The story comes from state of Saudi Arabia, where people are given rights in a very, very improper manner. The rights, yes, are provided to them, but to start with, the first and foremost right, that is the right to elect your own ruler or your own representative, is not given to the people. It is hereditary, and because the ruler is hereditary, then the power is also more or less in the hands of only those people who are in the good side of the ruler. So, whoever he considers as a proper person, he is going to appoint him as a minister in legislature or in executive. Even the judges, who are supposed to be the person of fair or unbiased nature, is appointed by the ruler so that he cannot give any verdict against the ruler. And something which is very common, that the women, they were not allowed to cast their vote until the year 2011. They are not considered equal to men. They cannot move out of the house without any male companion with them, either brother, husband, or brother, or anyone. They are supposed to behave in a particular manner, dress in a particular manner, and apart from the religious majority, that is Muslims, the religious minorities are not given rights to practice their religion in public. They can practice it, but in the privacy of their homes only. So, when we think about Saudi Arabia, a picture of grand hotels and grand sheikhs come in our mind, but behind all the grandeur is the biased behavior or the improper distribution of rights for the people. So, with the example of these three stories, what comes out is that in all the cases, some people were in power, so they basically did whatever they wanted to do and did not share this power with those who were in minorities or of different gender or of different communities. This unfair behavior, this unfair distribution of rights will never lead to a democratic system, because in a democracy, every person is equal, and by the word equal, here we mean that what is the right of one person should also be the right of the other person. So, what comes out as the definition of democratic rights can be that the rights which are reasonable claims of persons recognized by society and sanctioned by law. We'll elaborate this definition. There are majorly three terms here that define the term rights. First is a reasonable claim. If I want to hear loud music, yes, it's my right and I can do it. But if I have the right to make noise or listen to very loud music, then the other person who may be getting disturbed by that noise also has the right to remain in peace or to enjoy the silence. So, rights is nothing that you can just wake up one morning and demand ki, okay, I should have an aeroplane or I should have a cruise of my own and it should be my right. Why cannot I have this? The demand of the person, the demand of an individual should be a reasonable one. And by reasonable, we mean that whatever you are demanding should not be improper or intervening in the rights of the others. We are talking about the power which, if you have in your hand, then the other person will also have in their hands. So the claim that you are making should be a reasonable one. The second main point of this definition is should be recognized by the society. There are a lot of times when something that you like to do may not be accepted by a group of the people or society in general. So, what you are claiming should also be accepted by the society here. For example, if our democratic system gives us the right of equality, no discrimination is to be conducted on the basis of caste, gender, religion, or economic status. This right has been gained by the people through the changes that the society had witnessed, and this is accepted by the members of the society that yes, everyone should be given an equal chance and an equal opportunity. So, the right that we are claiming should also be accepted by the society. We can take a funny example here as well, that if you demand that no, I should be allowed to hear loud music every now and then at the middle of the night, so you might enjoy it, your friends might enjoy it, but the whole society, okay, take it, we can take an exception here that the whole society might also enjoy the loud music, but in the long run they will get irritated, they will get fed up of what has been happening, and in the long run it will be eliminated. So a right is something which is accepted by the society in a proper manner. And then finally, the sanctioning of the law, which is most important, because what you think is correct will not be recognized by the system until unless it is sanctioned by the law. Okay, you think that you should be given an equal right and you want it. The society accepts that everybody should be given an equal right. But if the law does not sanction it, then anyone can practice discrimination with you and you can do nothing against that. So if it is sanctioned by the law, it becomes legal, and then if somebody discriminates you or takes away or hurts your rights, then you can go against that person through a legal process as well. So, in a broader manner, the democratic rights are the rights which are proper, reasonable claims of the people. The society accepts those claims, and finally, it is sanctioned by the law. A very important question that rises up in our minds here is, if we accept these rights in our society, what is the need of following it properly? Why do we need rights? Why can't the majority rule and the minority be suppressed? Why can't the powerful have power? Because that's what's been happening throughout the history. What has changed that has brought us to the situation that we are demanding the rights, the power in our hand? Basically, the same thing, the majority rule and the discriminations in the society have led to this concept of equal rights, because if rights are not given to the people, what will happen on a normal basis is that the majority section will always get the upper hand and will always try to suppress the minority section. We can take a very common example from a classroom. Suppose if there are a few girls in the class and majority of boys are there, and they are to form a group of four monitors, it is very obvious that the election of the monitors will be affected because most of the voters will be from the boys' side. So this will mean that the girls will very rarely get a chance unless some of the people from the boys' side vote for the girls, which is very likely not to happen. So, with this example, we can say that the need of the rights is basically because the rights of the minorities should be protected and they should be given a surety that the majority will not suppress them. So, this is the beginning of our chapter. In the next lecture, we'll start with the rights provided to citizen of India in our constitution.